안녕하세요. I'm not going to do this one in Korean. Okay, so thank you for attending, but you're going to love this one. This is a really exciting presentation to give because it's really innovative and hopefully it gives you a lot of really cool ideas to take away with you for your developments. I'm going to be talking about customization, how we can incorporate customization into cosmeceutical products, also colour, and also aroma. There's a lot of opportunities for aroma, just waiting to see some companies take these ideas on board. I'm going to be talking about the present situation of customization as well as opportunities and ideas. So we teach people how to formulate all online. We don't have a brand ourselves and we don't distribute materials. So everything that you're going to hear today, it's unbiased advice about what I see happening in the industry and some opportunities and ideas that you can take away with you. So what is customization? Well, increasingly, consumers want products that suit them, and they can change their mind daily. And let's face it, they often do. So the whole idea of customization is to always make sure that you're making your consumer happy. Their skin may also change. Hormonal, climate changes, when they travel to a different climate, diet, lifestyle, stress, good food, too much soju. So they may want different products at different times. And if you can provide that to them, they will have higher brand loyalty. And they like to mix and match their own product. It gives them a sense of ownership over that product as well. So there's some consumers out there and they have a real passion to develop their own products, okay? And they might go to local small soap suppliers. You would have them here, like just small, like craft type size purchasing. But there's big limitations that they soon find out about. They had this great idea, I'm going to make my own products. And they go to these small suppliers and they soon find out, I can't get these really high-end, exciting actives that I see in the L'Oreal or Tony Malloy, did I say it right, products. So then they go back to purchasing the regular same old. But they still want their own. How can they get it? Some of the innovative ideas I show you today are ways that you can formulate to provide customers with those really high-end cosmeceutical products, because they can't go and purchase 1 or 5 kilos of these really innovative materials we see here. So how can you give them that instead? I will show you. They've also, obviously, if they're making for themselves, very low economies of scale. So they'll soon realise they can't afford to do it even if they wanted to put these really exciting and innovative and highly active materials. They just can't purchase them in quantities that are going to suit them. You know, the product, the active would go off. It would expire before they could use all of it. So these are problems for them. And then, like I say, they keep looking. They keep looking for products that can be truly their own. And there's also too much potential for self-selection. Too much chance they'll get it wrong. Too much chance that they'll pick an active that's really not going to give them the performance results they're looking for. But you can. So I'm going to show you in a moment how we can make a base cream and then incorporate actives, just like this concept here. So we start with a base cream and then we incorporate different actives that they can mix or match to suit their needs. First of all, what's already out there? Well, here's an example of a company. They've got this machine, they call it a Janus. So, and this is in like pop-up concept stores. The consumer puts their face into this machine. It gives a detailed readout. Very impressive, isn't it? This is how you win brand loyalty. You give them something that's truly their own unique data. And then the rep on the stand is told to add so much of A, so much of B, mix it into a base, and there they have their customised product. Okay, so, but you can do this without a fancy machine. A consumer knows if they have oily skin or blemished skin, or if they want to have whiter looking skin, or if wrinkles is their problem, or maybe wrinkles and pimples are their problem. So you can make these actives that they can add to a base and customise to suit their very specific needs. They already know. So you don't need this fancy machine. Mind you, it does help sell it a little bit, doesn't it? When you've got these fancy graphs, fancy machines. So what I have got here as an example today is just some base product. Base, unscented, boring product. But when I say boring, okay, it's very ordinary right now, but you have to formulate your base very carefully if you're going to do what I'm going to show you. So the whole concept is we take 0.5 grams of product, very scientific right now, but you, of course, would get a dispensing unit that would very accurately dispense the right amount for a consumer. And then we take some carefully prepared active in a suitable base. And in this example, 1 drop. They'll combine it together and use on their face, okay? So that's all good and well, and you say, well, that's great, Belinda, but how do I know what proportions I need of different actives? First, let's talk about what your base needs to be. You need to make sure that your base is going to be very stable. It should be tolerant against electrolytes, okay? Unless you are formulating and you already know exactly which actives you're going to be adding, you should make it an electrolyte resistant base, okay? This is going to give your marketing department plenty of flexibility in choosing different actives, okay? So for example, your marketing people or marketing people in the room, you might have already gone around to the stands and you're going to pick the active based on its story and how it fits with your current range and your company philosophy. Am I right? Yep. You take that back to your formulator and they might say, I can't use that in this base. It'll fall apart. Not compatible. You don't care about that. You want your formulator to make that base. If you're using this concept, you want to be able to use the actives that you've seen here with a fantastic story that you can fit into your product range. So your formulators in the room, pick electrolyte resistant materials. In this particular product, I've used a non-ionic high HLB emulsifier with a non-soapy effect because, again, there's this consumer perception that if a product takes a long time to rub in, they don't think it's absorbing. Okay, so you've always got to formulate to suit consumer perception. And you've got about 30 seconds to please them, if that. So in this particular example, that's the emulsifier I've used. You could use other emulsifiers, but again, using non-ionic high HLB emulsifier for this oil and water emulsion, I'm eliminating a charge incompatibility. So the formulators in the room will know that right now I've made it electrolyte tolerant and I'm using non-ionics, so it's not going to be affected by charge. So far, I'm letting my concept developer pick pretty much any active they want to use. Okay, so you must create your base to suit all sorts of materials that your marketing or concept developer might pick from a trade show like this or from speaking with a supplier. I've also used materials that can tolerate a broad pH range in the finished product because, again, formulators in the room, you'll know that when you use different active materials, sometimes you need to adjust your end product to accommodate a very specific pH. Otherwise, you could render your active unavailable, incompatible, no bioavailability, no activity. Does that make sense? And for marketing people in the room, you might have heard that, again, from your formulator in the past. I can't use this material in this product because it's not compatible, the pH. It's basically meaning you want to make sure you're using an active at a bioavailable, biocompatible pH. Otherwise, you may as well not add the active. So again, if you're formulating this sort of a base, then you need to make sure you're picking materials that will enable you to have a very broad pH. So even your preservative selection needs to accommodate a broad pH range because you don't know what your marketing person's going to pick to add to this base. Should also definitely for your marker have a light skin feel and absorb well. That's a consumer perception thing. This particular emulsifier boosts skin hydration up to 8 hours. So I'm actually building into my base formula some marketing claims. And in this case, I've also picked lipids which give that light skin feel, non-comedogenic, will not block pores, and also non-oxidizing. So I'm making a very robust and stable formula so we can add just about any active we want. So let's talk about the actives. So I've got 3 different examples today, just so you can see how easy it is to do this. Now the actives that I've created here, I've made them so that a consumer would add 1 drop to 0.5 grams of product. You could dilute it more. You don't have to. It's variability. It's up to you. This is how it's done. So you might say, okay, Belinda, well, I might need 1 active at 2% and I need 1 active at 5%. How do I accommodate that? I'm already 1 step ahead of you, but great that you're thinking that way. Okay, so if I had 0.5 grams of base, I would typically add 0.01 to 0.025 grams of active. Dropper dispensing, and you'll need to speak with your packaging supplier. You need to get a very reliable dropper. And this is so that on dispensing, the right amount of active is coming out every single time. A typical drop is about 0.03 grams, but check it carefully because specific gravity can vary between your materials. And definitely check it because remember that drops are in mil, but your formula and the active percentages that your suppliers quote you is in weight for weight. Does that make sense? So the active concentrate is the active plus a suitable solvent. So I've diluted it in a suitable solvent so that when I add 1 drop of this to 0.5 grams of this, I'm adding it at its required dosage. What does that look like? For example, I've picked these 3 actives. So the Mini Poral by Lucas Meyer for oily skin is needed in formulations at 2% weight for weight. So what I've done is I've put 33% of Mini Poral in here and 67% of polysorbate 20. So it's really important to make sure that you're putting your active into a suitable solvent that it will then disperse easily. Okay? And in this particular case, the Mini Poral needs a solubilizing agent so that I can incorporate it easily into my oil and water base cream. Another example, Liftonin Expert. This one's needed in supplier documentation and efficacy studies. 3% weight for weight. So I've taken what I've got in here in my little active concentrate so that 1 drop will deliver 3% in my 0.5 grams base, 50% of the Liftonin Expert in 50% glycerin. And finally, Hydra Intense is needed in formulations based on efficacy studies at 5% weight for weight. So in my little active here, I have 83.3% Hydra Intense with 16.7% propane diol. Don't believe me? Do the math. Okay, remember adding 1 drop to my 0.5 gram base will then give me the equivalent 2%, 3% or 5% as listed there. So that's a basic guide. Now, of course, you can dilute this further and then you're just getting the consumer to use 2 drops or 3 drops. But you need to use these ratios so that they're getting the right amount of active. Okay? Now, I'm also putting these into an emulsion base and that helps delivery in general. You'll also notice something else I've done with the formulations here. I've made it so that the actives are self-preserving. No additional preservative needed. Now, some of your actives may come with preservative in there. But what I've used, I haven't just used water. If I use water, I have to add more preservative. Who wants to do that? So what I've done is I've made them to be self-preserving solvent selections so that I don't have to add extra. Like I say, some actives come with preservative present. You can't take it out when it's in there, but you can stop the need to add more. Also using like a glycerin polysorbate 20, this actually enhances delivery. Okay, these enhance delivery into deeper layers of the skin so that we can get more efficacy from the finished product. So, the active, special considerations for the active. Obviously, if you're using water, you'll need to preserve, or use solvents so that you do not need to preserve. And this would be my strong suggestion if you're going to create these products, because the less preservatives you need to add, the less your consumer's going to have an issue. Let's face it, I don't think there's any other ingredient that can never make anyone happy like a preservative. But you need them when the product contains water. A vial with your dropper must dispense accurately and accordingly. Now, based on these active concentrates here, and these are highly active, so like I say, you can definitely make them less active. Same ratios, make it 2 drops or 3 drops. And that will change the size of the vial that you need to last either 30 or 60 days. You can sell these as a kit. You could have all 3 of these actives in there: oily skin, hydrating, or for anti-aging. All 3 could come as a kit. Someone on one given day goes, I've got combination skin today. It's partly oily. I've got wrinkles I always hate. And then I just want some extra moisture. They could technically add 1 drop of each to 0.5 grams of product. This is true customization. So with the active, make sure that it's easily miscible with the solvent. So I've actually worked on these in my lab to make sure that the solvents I picked, they are very miscible in those solvents. They're not miscible in every type of solvent, so you'll need to select specifically for each type of active. I also had to change my mind on some of the actives I wanted to use. Some actives were too sticky, so dispensing 1 drop would be impossible. They're no good. Other actives might have an odour associated with them. Also, if you're providing an active concentrate and it doesn't smell good, consumer's not going to want to use it, unfortunately. Make sure it creates a homogeneous dispersion, that it suits drop dispensing, that you can easily dispense it through to the end of the vial. Very important. People don't want to pay $50 or $100, 50,000, 100,000 won for a product that they can only get that much out of. So make sure it can dispense right through to the end. Make sure it's compatible with the base. This is why creating such a friendly base, such a stable base, is important, because then you could add just about any active to this base and it will remain stable. And of course, make sure that it's going to be compatible with other active concentrates. Okay, so no good me providing a pack with 3 different types of actives if they're not going to be compatible. You know, if one active needs a final pH of 6 to 8 and one active will only work in a pH environment of 4, my base cream needs to suit all actives in the pack. Does that make sense? Excellent. And so what I have here as well, so you can have a play later, is exact examples that I've made for you. You can have a feel of these later. You can come and have a look at the active concentrates. Don't mind the fancy lab equipment. It's portable. But you can have a play with these later if you like. Or if you want, you can come and visit me in my booth. I'm just out there. But wait, there's more. I'm not finished yet. But you can definitely come and have a play with these later. I welcome you to do that. Like I say, I'm not commercialising these products. You might as well take the ideas. Let's talk about colour. I love colour. I'm presenting on colour tomorrow afternoon. Stick around. It's going to be loads of fun. Okay. Here's a really cool idea that came out of Korea about customised colour. Now, hopefully I don't have a technological problem today. I'll just play a little bit for you. And I'm having a technological problem. Oops. How do I get to that? Aha. Okay, do it. How cool was that? Okay, and consumers love it. They absolutely love that they can sit there and play with colour. Who loved playing with colour paints when they were young? You know, you all did. Okay, and women love it. Men in the room, I'm telling you now, women love it. They didn't just admit it, but they love it. Okay, so if you can provide that sort of thing to your consumer, they're going to love it. You know, different dress, different colour today. We really do that, guys. We really do. Okay, this is another example. Oh, sorry. Oh, cool, thank you. This is another example of what's already being done. So, MAC, similar concept. Look at the range of shades you can make. Can I please just point out, if you are going to do this sort of thing, make sure you've got a video, just like you saw, okay? Because there's nothing worse than a consumer getting all excited about one of these customisable packs. They get home, they might have instructions there to read, but there's nothing like a video to either sell it in the first place or get them to make sure they're using it properly. If they don't use it properly, no repeat sale. Okay, so video, very, very important. And you saw the video just then, very simple to create. No speaking, no faces, no one needs to be nervous, okay? But it shows very clearly how to create different colours. This here, a Mac person could buy a kit, go home and just go, oh, nah, this isn't working for me, chuck it out. The other video very clearly showed, and it also had a little keep it pack. Imagine you make this fantastic colour, and you keep it in a little pack, you get to use it again, compared to you make this fantastic colour one day and never recreate it again. Okay, so think of those things as well. Here's another example of customisable colour. So what they've got here, they have different wax bases, so you can even pick and choose what goes into the wax bases. This is real customisation. You do this all online with a little checklist. Here you can add sparkle. You can pick what sparkle. Here's different colours. Here is adding actives. And we're talking about lipstick here. How cool is this? I can put actives in, I can put sparkle in, I can make all sorts of colour. I do it all online. Tick the box. And then the company pours it into final moulds and I get my product. Yes, it costs the consumer more, but they love it because they're making their own. You know, I want that red. What red do you want? I want that red right there. They love it. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah. Okay, so future ideas. What's some other ideas? This is what's being done. What else could we do? You could look at gloss bases plus colour concentrates and sparkle concentrates. So you saw the last example was they go online, tick a box, get the end product sent to them. That's because it's a stick. You could create a gloss base as a little kit, okay, with sparkle concentrate, with colour concentrate, so they can vary their sparkle. The products out there, the examples you've seen, didn't have sparkle in the kit. Give them sparkle. Liquid foundations. Dial up dispensers to add different amounts of colour. I want strong coverage today. I want weak coverage. There's some great encapsulated colours out there that would enable you to do that very easily. Have the little capsules in a separate little pot. How much to add? Little video, little instruction sheet, low coverage, you know, half a teaspoon, give them a little plastic dispensing spoon. Make it your own. Powder foundations, light to dark in one compact. I want it light today, I'm rubbing from this side. I want it dark today, I'm rubbing from that side. These are ideas. This isn't done yet. Eyeshadow palettes with colour concentrates and sparkle concentrates. Okay, again, they can make their own eyeshadow colour to match their outfit. They can add a little sparkle. They can add a lot of sparkle. Going out Saturday night, karaoke, soju, lots of sparkle. These are all ideas. Oh, if you think I'm having fun today, come tomorrow afternoon when I'm actually working with colour. I'll get real excited. Okay, finally, let's talk about aroma. Now, this is a space where there's lots of opportunity. It's not done yet. Time for someone to do it. Nothing conveys mood or occasion like aroma. So you would create a base aroma to suit your target market in general, like a general base. So it could be a light, subtle floral aroma. And then you provide them with some concentrates. So it might be an oriental aroma with a hint of spice. I add this concentrate to this base and I've made it oriental and spicy today. Could be a stronger floral aroma. And again, I might be wearing a nice floral dress going out on a Sunday afternoon. I want my perfume today to be a little bit more florally, a little bit lighter. So your concentrate is strong, adding it to the light base product. Or I might be wearing a different outfit another day. I might be going to work, want a more professional aroma. Might have some fruity notes with a touch of green. Add this to my light, subtle floral aroma. Sitting in the office, perfect office fragrance. Okay, this is an idea. This is how it would come together. Hasn't been done yet. Caution though, if you're going to start doing this with aroma, work closely with your fragrance house. Okay, let your fragrance house, unless you're a specialist in fragrance and you're working directly with fragrance chemicals, let your fragrance house do the mixing. Otherwise it could turn real bad real fast. Okay. Make sure that you're picking your packaging and your dispensers so that you are keeping consumer safety at the forefront. Fragrances, even essential oils, generally contain a high amount of allergens. You do not want your consumer misusing these materials. They don't have to. Again, you could make, a concentrate. It could even be a balm concentrate that you then have concentrate perfumes that are already diluted a little that you add to a little bit of that for your consumer to mix. And again, remember that blending the wrong fragrance notes can be disaster. So work closely with your fragrance house. But guess what? Takes the pressure off of you. Leave it to the fragrance experts. They can provide you with this type of product. Well, that's about all for my ideas today. I hope I've inspired you, got you a little bit excited. If you want to have a play with these actives and this base, please come up and have a little play. We do have a fair bit of time before you need to exit the theatre, so it's here. Or come and see me at my booth just outside the door. Learn to formulate with us or upgrade your formulation skills if you've liked what you've seen today. And now tomorrow at 11, I'm at the Sensory Bar providing a high internal phase advanced emulsion technology presentation in Korean and English. I got through it today. Who was there? Seriously? Well, I want to see you all there tomorrow at 11 o'clock because apparently my pronunciation was really good. Hannah's so proud of me. Hannah's my assistant out at the stand. 1 p.m. tomorrow, I'm here doing European and Chinese cosmetic regulations. So if you're interested in regulations, come and see that tomorrow at 1 p.m. And 2:30 tomorrow afternoon in the technical theatre, you're going to see me have even more fun with colour. So please come to that as well. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.